Hello. So, say hello, Biscotti. Hello, Biscotti. A request has come in about Supta Kurmasana B, where you've got the legs behind head, and your hands are connected, and then you need to push yourself up. And sometimes it's difficult to actually push yourself up with the legs behind the head. And so what sort of tips are there for that? And so I'm just going to start with actually Supta Kurmasana. And in order to push yourself up or lift yourself up to your sitting bones, it's kind of the beginning of the transition out of it. You need to be your Supta Kurmasana, the legs behind head, your Dvipada, needs to be very strong and very secure. So if it's not secure, if your feet are sort of either kind of just on top of your head or resting on your head as opposed to sort of further back, then it's going to be more difficult. So the more secure your Dvipada, the better. So we've done Kurmasana, let's say, and we now want to do Supta Kurmasana. Most of us will come up, or we might get a teacher to assist us to get into it. So what I always tell people when they're getting into Dvipada is to try to bring the hip more forward. Your hip is back, it's actually harder to get in, I find. So the hip comes forward, and you are relaxing your belly. Your bandhas are still working, meaning you're sort of pulling up on the pelvic floor area, but your belly is relaxing, and that sort of gives the hip a little bit of relief and space. So coming into that, and you can bring your hip a bit more forward to try to get the foot or the calf down the back a little bit more to get it off of your neck. And then the other side. And again, you can sort of really focus on keeping the hip forward, relaxing the lower back, relaxing the belly, keeping the bandhas strong, bringing the second foot around, and sort of making sure that you're also moving that foot down as low as possible. And then you're going to come down. So by the time I get down here, you may not be able to hear me. What I find in order to really help you get up is to use the backs of the shoulders against the legs. That's the thing that's going to really keep the legs back and keep the weight off of you as you try to push yourself up. So let's see if you can hear me when I'm down here. Down here I've got my hands, and my 5 breaths. Placing the hands are going to be wider than your shoulders. And then I'm going to take my shoulders, I'm going to press them back against my legs to try to to take the weight of the legs off of my head. So I'm going to push back, almost as if you're sort of bringing elbows, like trying to bring the elbows, pushing them away from you. And I'm just going to start the movement. So I'm pushing back with my shoulders, pressing into the hands, lifting up. Okay, and you can do that on the breath too. So exhaling on the inhale, so that you're up. So it could be a little bit tricky, and certainly if your ankles are not connected, then it's much more tricky. But again, pushing with the shoulders against the legs as much as possible, inhaling and pressing into those hands. And sometimes the inhale also allows you to find that lightness. If you sort of think, I'm going to be light as a feather as I'm pushing myself up, that also really helps. And then placing your hands in front of you, leaning forward, lifting up, releasing. And if the release is also difficult, if you start to lose your balance, it's sort of just hang here for a while. And then some people just keep leaning forward and place the feet to sort of move out of it. Or if you do have a balance, you can come into Vivasana for a second and the butt comes up. And then moving into transition. Not sure if that answered the question, but let me know if I can do something more. Thanks.